I recently ran the Modiphius RPG Dreams and Machines starter set for a group of my friends. I picked the set up at a local game store based on the cover art alone. For anyone who doesn't know, Dreams and Machines is a TTRPG set in a world much like Horizon Zero Dawn. Some may criticize it for this, but it made me buy the game because anyone who watches my videos knows that Horizon Zero Dawn is my favorite PS4 game of all time. The problem was, my normal D&D group didn't want to branch out and play other TTRPGs. Thankfully, I have friends who wanted to have a game night, and because one of them is a D&D fan and another one has dabbled in it, I suggested playing the Dreams of Machines starter set. They obliged. I suggested it because after buying the set, I watched some videos and read some posts and all that jazz, and found out that Dreams of Machines is considered an easy system to learn, and I hoped the starter set would make it even easier. And it did. Kind of. First off, the box set is really helpful. It has a lot of tokens and cards and handouts that make the game easier to play. It also has an intro adventure and basic rules booklet. But what I found to be the best, most helpfulest thing in the box was the tutorial booklet. This booklet has the Game Master run through scenarios with 1 to 2 players at a time, teaching the players and the GM how the game works in such situations. Think of it like a video game tutorial. If you have no idea what you're doing, it is very helpful. If you know what you're doing, it can be easily skipped, but the danger comes when you think you know what you're doing, but you don't entirely, and then things get more complicated. That is what happened to me for a little bit. But I recovered, and we were able to get into the adventure booklet, which picks up right where the tutorial leaves off. Since it's a starter set, they did what they could do to streamline the game in many ways. One way was in character creation. Everyone is human since this takes place after an apocalyptic event on a planet that people can learn to colonize. So, no race/species to pick. There are 5 origins which act like classes, and each origin can pick between 2 archetypes, and some archetypes can be chosen by more than 1 origin, making the archetypes not quite subclasses. The origin gives players their attributes stats, and the archetypes give players their skill stats. No need to roll for attributes or choose skills from a list. This handles starting equipment too, so there's no need to spend an hour going over what gear you might want. The game also has supply points which can be used to make useful items in-game, so no need to invest time into choosing items or pouring through your inventory looking to see what items you have that may be helpful. Instead, you think of the item, and if you have enough supply points, you make it. I don't know if it works this way for the full game, but this meant we could get straight into the action. We played half an adventure in less time than it takes to make a D&D 5e part. But that same streamlining leads to my major criticism of this product. I don't feel it explained things well enough. There were times when I felt completely lost, which I get happens when learning new games, but I feel like this game has the answers, it just didn't share them with the class. One example of this is in the Truths game mechanic. The box does a decent job of describing what truths are, info about a scene that can make it better or worse for the players, but then it lists many truths in bold, but only describes what a handful of them mean. It says players can spend momentum, one of their resources, to give their camp the cozy truth, but doesn't explain what benefit it would give the party to justify them spending resources on it. The weapon cards had damage numbers and types, but I couldn't find anywhere it said anything about what certain damage types do. It doesn't seem like a game with a heavy focus on combat, which meant the rules in the starter set were less than I would have liked for running the big boss battle in the starter adventure. The boss's NPC card says if it rolls a crit fail, or complication as this game calls it, then it suffers a malfunction, but never says what exactly that means. As someone who has run a TTRPG before, I was able to improvise, but this is supposed to be made for people who haven't played one before. Despite all the problems I had while running the boss battle, my players said they really enjoyed it. Maybe they were too inexperienced to know I floundered, but this is the best thing I can say about the game. We all had fun. The person who had never played a TTRPG before, the one who has only dipped their toe, and the experienced D&D but no other systems player all enjoyed the game, and I did too. My final complaint is that it may be a little too long. My players chose a path that skipped a good chunk of the adventure booklet, and we still only got about halfway through it. Although some may argue that it is a good thing because it makes the players get together to play again. Just so everyone knows, this video isn't meant to be a review of the Dreams and Machines system mechanics. I'm not a game developer, nor have I played enough of a variety of TTRPGs to properly analyze the game in that way. All I can judge is whether my party and I had fun playing it, which we did. So much so that we are getting together again very soon to play out the rest of the adventure, which means I can easily recommend this for newcomers to TTRPGs. Mileage for veteran players may vary. I hope this video answers any questions you had about the Dreams and Machines starter set, or any broader questions about the game or world itself. If you played this game before or want to after watching this video, leave a comment. If you know someone who may be interested, please share it with them. Like and subscribe if you want more of this type of content popping up in your feed. And as always, have a great rest of your day.